It's the Sports Chasers Podcast, coming to you live and direct with your host and your moderator, Kevin L. Warren. This is a real sports podcast for real fans.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on, everybody? It's another edition of the Sports Chasers Podcast, coming to you live and direct on our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, click, and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you also share our YouTube channel if you're digging what's going on with us on the sports scene. Also on the podcast side, whether you're on Spotify or Apple, make sure you give us, where's my hand at? Yeah, the 5-star review. DA usually chimes in, gives his 5 fingers of love, but 5-star review. Also give us right in the comments, hey, what do you love and feel about this show? So with that said, appreciate those that's chiming in. I know it's Wednesday. It's not Thursday. It's Wednesday. Life is going on. So we had to make a couple adjustments, and we are here tonight. So let's meet the crew. We got Dan. Dan is all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Dan, what's up, bro? How are you?
I don't know about all that, but I'm here. Let's get it.
Let's get it. We're going to get some hockey on tonight. Talk about the Tkachuk family reunion the other night. So we'll get to that in a little bit. The DA, what's up, bro? How are you, sir? Well, where did he go? Well, he went somewhere. I don't know where, DA. Shout out to our super producer, DJ. He's on behind the scenes making it happen. Appreciate you, bro, and to all those that are to our members that are not here tonight. Hey, shout out to those guys here tonight. But hey, a lot of things are going on tonight with sports. We're going to talk. Dan's going to do hockey. We got the boxing talk with DA. We got NBA talk. We're going to talk about their in-season tournament, which we'll talk about it. College football, AP 25 is out and changed a little bit, but we'll talk about that. And as Dan alluded to the other night, we want chaos and anarchy. Alabama beat when the SEC beats Georgia. And what did we say the other game? We said we need some anarchy.
If Louisville beats Florida State.
Yeah, we just want it all. Yes, we want
Iowa. We're pulling for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, yes, for this to be totally anarchy, to see what the people that
Oregon, Washington.
Well, I guess that's they're both ranked, ranked teams. They're both undefeated. So one is going and one is probably not going. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say one's in and possibly depending on how things roll. That's the other thing. If our plan comes to light, there's going to be a bunch of 12-1 teams, and then who's the best 4 out of the ones that are, who's the best. We'll talk about it a little bit, but it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, it'll be definitely fun to see, man. Shout out to those that's listening on all our socials, on Facebook, on X. I keep calling it Twitter, but it's X now. I don't think we're on Instagram, Twitch, some of those channels were not working on Monday, but we got them working tonight. So it's there. It's great. We're waiting for the DA to come back, but DA will come back when he gets back here. So this is episode 197. We have done 197 of these things. That's pretty damn dope, man. So shout out to the Sports Chasers and all the guys that make it happen. So with that said, without further ado, let's go to Dan with NHL Talk. Dan, let's go. What's happening, bro?
Well, we'll just run down, I really want to talk about 10 teams, but we'll kind of bump it up a little bit further than that. But the power rankings. Yeah, for the first time I since I've been on, this year, and we talking rankings, the Bruins are no longer, in my opinion, number 1. That would be the Rangers. Is that a coincidence that they don't want the President's Cup? Because they're on a skid. They've lost 3 in a row.
Wait, Dan, you would actually think that a NHL team would tank, so to speak?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, man.
It's just funny that, Yeah, they lost to the Rangers the other day, and then they've been struggling a little bit since. It's just we'll let the Rangers have all that glory. But no, the Rangers have been playing really well. And like we talked, not even on the show, but just on the phone and whatnot. Yeah, they've been going through a lot of injuries. Fox has been out. Beatle's been out. Shesterkin's been out. I know Shesterkin came back the other night. It's going to take him a few games. But like I said, the best offseason signing that you probably made in a couple of years was picking up Jonathan Quick because he played excellent.
Absolutely.
Yes. The time that Shesterkin was out, and held the fort down. I think Fox was skating in a regular jersey, so he should be back real soon. Probably next game they play. And then I know, was it Capo? I think he had an injury the other day to his leg. I'm not sure how serious that is, but he's going to be out for a little bit. And then I call the Marchand of defensemen.
Dan, your sound keeps going in and out. We just need
he's out there like he's Paul Bunyan trying to chop the wood at Frederick's head in half. Look, Malkin did something kind of similar. I think it was against Philly a while back. He got, I think it was 2 games. All he got was a fine. So,
right.
And he's not on, he might be on the naughty list, not the nice list, Truba. So,
yeah, for sure.
So I think I think he got away with one there. But my surprise team, like we talked about it earlier, like who was up and coming, the Kings, they're hanging right in there. They're 13-3-3. Talbot's playing well. I think he's got 10 wins already. And they don't have like a ton of scoring or like guys that have a ton of points.
Right.
Their leading scorer is got, I think, Kemp and who was the other guy? Kempe and I think it was Brown or Moore. Sorry, Moore. They both got like 20 points, and Fiala's got 20 points. But everybody else, it's upper teens, but it's more of a team game, a line, full lines playing together. And like in goals for, they're 4th. Goals against, they're the best defensive team in the league. Their penalty kills, the number 1 in the league. So those things, the object is put more in and keep more out.
Yes.
And so far they're doing a great job of that.
Okay.
And then Avalanche, they're hanging in there at 15-6-0. Knights at number 5, 14-5-4. Then you got Dallas, 13-5-2. Winnipeg's, they're playing pretty decent of late. They're 12-7-2. And then we get a little murky here. The Leafs 11-6-3. Still not sold on them. Nylander by far has been their best player this year.
I think you're biased.
No, I mean they're 11-6-3. They have Mitch.
Dan loves the Maple Leafs.
I'm
sorry.
Well, he's anti. He's anti.
No, that's was it Van Allen? That's out to you, bro. But no, it's a quick take. That Marner is playing. He's the most noticeable and the most consistent player that's playing for them right now. And I wonder what year it is. What's he have at the end of this year? Oh yeah, that's right. His contract expires.
Well, that's why you go hard.
Well, wait, hockey players do that too? Okay.
Well, it just seems there's a little more.
I
don't know. I mean, it's not like they don't play as hard, but I
got you. Mm-hmm.
He knows he's got something on the line. It's a little bit like that's a difference between 10, 11 million and 7 million. So he has a great year. He's going to get the money. It's not going to be in Toronto unless they decide to get rid of somebody else to free up the cap space because they're pretty well strapped. But like I said, it comes back to their goaltending and their defense. You got all these forwards. You got to be able to stop the puck. But then we got the Panthers 13-7-2. they've been playing well of late. Canucks, they're 15-7-1. They've been playing great too, and it is what it is. But the Bedard watch, he's got 10 goals, 7 assists so far, leads the team in that and that points. And then we had the Corey Perry with that put on waivers for the conditions of terminating his contract for misconduct or
whatever
whatever it was. And if you read,
call it misconduct if you want, but nah.
Yeah, you read social media, there's some people taking shots and strays.
Yeah, it's not good.
Of a certain family that really
shouldn't happen. Yeah, that's whack.
But it is what it is. And, now they had a roster spot open and they traded with the Canucks for, is it Anthony Bolivier? He's got like 2 goals, 6 assists, like 8 points, but, he'll be another young kid, get in the lineup, start building that team. We talked about,
what they need to do.
A lot of what the good teams are doing. The Oilers, they fired their coach, and it seems like they got some common sense now, and they're actually playing defensively, and their goalies are starting to stop the puck a little bit. They're on a 3-game heater. They've won the last 3, but I mean, they're like 8-12-1 with 17 points. And
yeah, it's not good overall, but three games in a row, we'll take them.
In their division, the Pacific, they're 15 points behind Vegas.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's over.
Yeah,
not necessarily.
It's close to it though, Dan.
Well,
they won 3 in a row, right? Go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
I mean, no, they're starting to play better. They're starting to play defensively. But here's the kicker. So it's just not their division that they have to be top 4 in anymore. Now, they just got to be top 8 in their division. So right now, Nashville, who's on a 6-game winning streak, who beat us in overtime the other night on a bullshit call, but Arizona's right behind them with 22 points. They're tied. Of course, there's tiebreakers and all that crap, but they're only 5 points ahead of Edmonton. So that's 3 games. So if they can continue to play well, it's hard to make up points just with the 3-point system where, 2 if you win, 2 if you tie and go to a shootout, or if you win the shootout and the other team gets 1 point for losing the shootout.
As before, they used to be, am I correct? They used to be 2 for a win, right? And then if you went to a tie, right, and they ended up in tie, each team and had a point, correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, can they do it? Yes. I mean, their goal differential came significantly down. They're only -7 now. So
they're playing better.
Yeah, so they're figuring out, and and like I said, we're like a little over a quarter away into the season. Some teams have played like 19, some have played 23, and that's the thing. Edmonton's played 21, Vegas has played 23, Vancouver 23, and that they're a respective 32 points, 31, and it's top of that the conference. So they got a couple games in hand. It's what they do with it is the important thing. So we'll see how that all works out. But yes, we will talk about the Ottawa and the Florida Panthers game here. And
great game, great fight, and then the game broke out.
Great family reunion. Yeah, go ahead.
Great fight, and then the game broke out. So.
The thing I kind of like the best is like every once in a while, it'll happen once or twice a season where you get the great hot mics. and I always saw like the one, I think it was Foligno was playing for Boston, and he got 2 minutes for roughing or whatever, and he goes, "Well, what am I supposed to do? Beat his fucking face in?" To the referee, like, what do you want me to do? And they caught that on the mic, which was hilarious. And the overtime, or I think it was the end of the second period, that they called a penalty, I think, on Pedersen for us. and Letang was skating through the neutral zone back to the other end for the face-off. And he must have been saying something to the referee, because as he's calling the penalty, he's got his hand on the mic thing, and he just looks and he goes, "You want one too? You want to join them?" Oh, it was great. But that's, some of the great banter you get with the hot mics. But the announcement for the penalties in the Florida game had me dying.
Yeah, listen, he was like, everybody. Yeah, he was flustered giving that, he's saying the penalties. The announcement.
It was great because he's like, number 7 for Florida has got 2 minutes for roughing. Number 7 for Ottawa has got 2 minutes for goalie interference, and another for roughing. And then whoever the other guy is for Florida and his number, he's got 2 minutes for roughing. And then everybody else on the ice got a 10-minute misconduct.
Yeah. I think we got it right here. I think if Junior can pull it up.
He said everybody, but that's what he said. Like, it was crazy.
So, yeah, go ahead, Dan, as Junior, if he can.
But that was what, 12:38. So there's what, 7:42 left in the game or so.
Yeah,
or whatever, so 22 or whatever it is, and basically that's it. When you got to 10, you can't come back.
Right,
Dan, we got it queued up. Dan, let's go to the tape.
Let it rip.
Ottawa penalty number 7 has 2 minutes for goaltender interference, 2 minutes for roughing. Florida number 12 has 2 minutes for roughing, and then every player on the ice has a 10-minute misconduct. Florida will have a 2-minute penalty.
You're going to get
Ottawa
a fight
penalty
from Brady
number 7
Kachuk.
has 2 minutes for goaltender interference.
everybody.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Courtesy of SSN Network. Go ahead, Dan.
Obviously, that I don't think they called anything on the goaltenders, but yeah, right. that and I almost had that spot on. I just missed the number for Florida.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was hilarious. But I think it was 167 total penalty minutes in this game.
Yes.
And the presser that Paul Maurice had after the game was hilarious. He goes, it's a game. It's it's beauty. It's intense, and tempers flare, and sometimes you got fights. And he was like, but yeah, he's like, if we were only in the 160s, it's not really, I would say go as far as what you're saying until we hit around 250 minutes in penalties. I was like, damn, man, I haven't seen that in years. Many years since I saw that. But that's back in the day when they had enforcers and all that good stuff.
Right. Goons and all that stuff, correct.
Because I think Cuban is the one that kind of started the whole fiasco by jumping Matthew Tkachuk for Florida.
That was the problem. Yeah, that's where the problem started.
Yeah.
And I don't know how he only got out of there with 5 minutes. He just got a match penalty and he was gone. But the beauty of it is to Florida Tkachuk, he's got a cut on the side of his eye, his helmet's off, and he gets up smiling, and he's putting his bucket back on his head, and he's looking at it, he's just chirping over it, and you see they show who he's yelling at, and it's his brother for Ottawa. And they're going back and forth, and then they pan the can to the crowd, and all you see is Grandma Tkachuk, like, what are they doing? What's going on? And then and then you got Dad there, Keith. He's looking, hey Granny, this is what happens. Explaining to her what's going on. Oh, I loved it. Like
family reunion, bro.
Yeah, it's been a while since there's been a game like that.
I need more of that.
And the bummer is they don't play again until I think February.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Which sucks. Gotcha. But yeah, that's whew. And it part of it too. What I think I caught on one of the clips. I think it was on X. Was Matthew looking at his brother saying Sanderson, and I forget who the other guy was that he mentioned. But he's like so and Sanderson, they're dead. They're dead. like you want to run our goalie? We're going after your best players.
Right.
That might have been Stutzel that he was talking about. But oh yeah, but those games are few and far between, so you got to enjoy them when you get them.
Oh yeah, I mean, it looked like at the end of the day, it was a fight in hockey, and it looked like the guys that were fighting weren't too mad after the fact. It's like sometimes it's like they said in the Godfather. Every few years, you got to have one of these to clear the blood. Everybody can go on after this, so this is good.
But it really wasn't like
that bad.
That part wasn't really a fight. That was just more of Brady just being a nuisance and starting shit with everybody on the Florida team.
Yeah,
like they try to break him up, and he grabbed somebody's collar and wouldn't let go of it. So the linesmen were pulling both of them, and then the guy get pissed off and throw a glove in his face, and then he'd let go, and then somebody would be going by and he'd be like, whoop, grab him too, so he aggravates him. I kind of feel like they kind of knew what was coming because the direction the game was going, that they were all going to get the gate, and that's what happened. But there's Hey, if you're a backup goaltender, you were loving that game because you had all the leg room on the bench that you could possibly need. Because I think at one point Paul Maurice was counting his players on the bench to see what lines he could form with what players, because they were that short. I think they had like maybe 6 or 7 on the bench. I think Ottawa had one less because the match penalty to McEwen. But yeah, that's almost as good. Like it sucks they all got thrown out because it's even better to watch them sit all in the penalty box and yap back and forth in between whistles. But yeah, that was a good one.
What else you have for us, Dan? I saw Patrick Kane. Looks like he's going to rock with the Red Wings. Go ahead with that.
Yeah. There's it's been the rumor around that he was coming back. Where's he going? What team is he going to go play for? And interesting enough, I saw a thing before we got on where it was he took a 1-year deal with Detroit, but he had, I think, multiple teams with multiple year contracts that he turned down.
Why do you think he did that?
You going to go play in San Jose for 2 years?
Yeah, I got it. At this stage of the game, he gets to pick where he wants to go. Right. Why he didn't stay with the Rangers then? Why do you think he didn't stay with the Rangers? I didn't think he was going to stay. I thought he was a hired mercenary, but why do you think?
Well, why didn't Tarasenko stay? He went to Ottawa.
Maybe the coach.
Maybe that.
Maybe who was coming to be the coach.
What kind of money they got? What's the cap space? Who's coming up for contracts? Am I going to get that dollar? And to me, it doesn't. Like, I think he just signed with Detroit for 1 year because he wanted to play there. But not only that, like, he's just coming off hip surgery. He wants to give it the last. We're in December now. The last couple months, 3 months, 4 months. Give it a go to make sure he can go. Instead of hemorrhaging a team saying, "Oh yeah, pay me $5 million for $10 million for 2 years, and be a cap hit of $5 million and handicap a good team when he goes on long term."
Well, that's a smart guy who's thinking not only of the organization, and me and D sometimes talk about this, but go ahead, as we're almost running out of time with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is probably the last thing we're going to talk about, but just that, thinking about it, where did he start playing?
I thought it was Chicago.
Okay. Yeah. And where did he sign after
that? New York.
All right. And now where's he playing now?
Detroit. I mean, is he making the circuit? I mean,
think about this. Those are all original 6 teams. Is he going to go play for Boston next year?
Montreal.
Yeah, and hit the 6. If I was
Toronto.
I would not go there.
Dad hates Toronto so much.
No, I'm just saying, like, the media scrutiny and stuff. when you're at the late end of your career, he doesn't need all that bullshit. It's like they're going to look at him like he's Patrick Kane in 2010, 2011 when he's winning cups with. That's not who he is anymore. He can still play. He can still skate. He's still got the hands, but the youth is not there. And he knows he probably only got a couple more years left.
Right.
Even, if he makes it through this year and he's feeling good and healthy and wants to come back, maybe he will go to Boston, get the U.S., original 6 jerseys so he can hang them up in the den.
That'd be kind of neat. Dan, if that be all, appreciate that. I don't think you have anything else. Thank you, Dan. That's Dan. Yeah, we need some. I keep saying we need some theme music for Dan. That's Dan with hockey, bringing the heat when it comes to the NHL and all things hockey. Thank you, Dan. The DA is up next. He's got boxing. He was fussing on the air before we came on about boxing, and he will continue to fuss because boxing is something else. DA, take it away, sir. Well, you're gonna be bringing me some money. $5, bro. Cut your mic on. And he's still talking.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. Let me get that QR code.
Yeah,
hold
man.
on.
Bring it up. So
let me get it. For anybody that wants to donate, there you go.
I gotta put my phone on it. And so it's wild, right? So even as I watched Benavidez beat Andre. It's a good fight, 6 rounds. Benavidez beat him up, and that was for I think the super middleweight fight. And then we had Charlo. I call him Big Charlo, not the one that lost to Alvarez to Canelo. So it's Jamal Charlo. He had a great fight. He actually was there looking like he wanted to fight rather than run like his brother did with Canelo. And I will say after the fight, there was a level of maturity and the way both of them, believe it or not, actually articulated their fights after the fights. A far different, both Charlo brothers than what they were years ago. We had Shakur Stevenson fighting, and I forget the name of the brother he fought from DR, from the Dominican Republic, and he took a W on the fight, but God, that fight was on a Thursday night, and you could have done anything. Like how we do our list for college football. Like you could have went to I guess Walmart 24 hours like that night because it was like, dude, what? Like what? So that was not a good fight at all. That was not a good fight. That fight sucked. So there were a bunch of, I guess, smaller fights on the cards for those nights for both fights, but for the bigger fights and just the name brand folks, we have Benavidez won, Charlo won, and Shakur won. I think the biggest news for me that I in this alphabet soup of boxing and all of the belts and all of this and all of that is that now the IBF is at least taking action. I'm not sure it's fair action all the time, but it is action where they are stripping belts of boxers that are not fighting their mandatories. So if you're not fighting your mandatory, you say, hey man, Kevin has to fight Jimmy as a mandatory defense, and Kevin says, hey, listen, I can't do it. My foot hurts. The reality is they're going to take that belt. And then they're going to give it to the next guy. So they just did that with Bud. And he gave up his belt, which is Terrence Crawford, to Boots Ennis. So now he's the welterweight champion because he's not Terrence Crawford was not able to defend his IBF championship because he has a clause to fight Devin again after the fight. So so he can't do that because he has a fight he has to fight. And with that being said, now he's they took his belt. So at least they are making some moves. I still believe boxing, and looking through the pea soup of guys having two guys having the same championship in the division and stupid stuff, interim champions and stupid stuff like that. I think they need to move closer, and I think they will pick up a lot of fans if it was less confusing, like who's the champ, who's the best, who's this, and who's that, So, but those are the biggest fights that happen, which the great thing about that is it opens up boxing to have a lot of other great fights, especially in the middleweights, super middleweight, welterweight, and lightweight. There are going to be a lot of fights coming up because now guys know they have to fight each other. So stay tuned, and we're going to have kind of a list of what fights are coming, and I'll put them in the if you need to know, yeah, and we'll attach it also to the
to the show notes. Yes,
yeah,
and then
you guys can look and see of who's fighting and coming up in the next few weeks and months. All right.
Got you. That's all you got on boxing, DA?
Sir, yes, sir.
Yes, as DDubb and DA, they are the boxing aficionados on this show. Look for them because they usually have some standalone episodes where they just chop it up when it comes to boxing. It's really, really well. So check that out. And as DA said, we'll put that. I'm sorry, you want something else?
I'm sorry, I had a misquote. I said Haney. It was Spence that Bud Crawford.
Spence.
Yeah, he has to give him a rematch in the clause. So with that said, he can't fight Boots Ennis, who is the number one contender in the IBF. And there's a whole bunch of stuff around that where Boots could have actually fought him in WBO, but he didn't. So with that said, they took the belt. But the good thing is that they're doing that with a lot of fighters. So which is good. If you're not, at least IBF is saying if you're not taking your number one contenders seriously and taking those fights, then we're just going to take the belt from you. So I like that.
We we put the boxing schedule on the screen. It's also on the live stream. So want to check out who's the fights and what DA just talked about, just click on that link right there. It's on Boxing News 24. I believe DA and DDubb use that site to get a lot of their boxing information. So I'll just give my 2 cents on boxing. I love boxing. I like boxing. I'm with both of you guys when we says that it's so convoluted, the alphabet soup and all that comes with it. And it's kind of frustrating sometimes because you just want to see the best fight. That's all. You just want to see the best fight. And sometimes you don't get it because of the politics. And that's what I'll call it. The politics of boxing in the industry. And boxing has the long history of gambling and all that stuff and some of the dark history, man. But getting past that stuff, you just want really good fights. And from heavyweight on down to the featherweights and stuff like that, when done correctly, you sometimes get some really good fights. And I think this year has been a really good year of having, like we said, some of those really good fights. I just wish they fight more.
Stop the BS, man. Listen, you can't have a sport where your heavyweight champion is fighting a guy from another sport and then gets knocked down.
A YouTuber.
So he fights Nagano, who is a UFC guy, and Nagano gives him a fight. But you're Tyson Fury. You're supposed to be the dude. Like, and historically, he is the lineal champ, whatever that means. That means he beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy that beat the guy all the way back to like 1901, Jack Johnson, some stupid shit like that. So, but what happens is you can't have that guy, because that's always what's considered to be the baddest man in the world, as a heavyweight champion,
right?
Fighting a guy from the UFC. He's not even a boxer. Like we can't do that. That makes no sense. That it doesn't make any sense for the sport. You can't. No other professionals do that. Not during the season. Like, this isn't Superstars from the 70s, on ABC, where you had guys from every sport competing against each other in track. You know
Yo.
what I mean? Like, that's not what this is. So this is the superstars. Herschel Walker he's gonna lift as much he's gonna lift weights against Reggie White. Like, come on, this is stupid, man.
Let me ask you this, D. Let me ask you this. What does make sense for the sport? How do we elevate boxing? How do we elevate?
It's real simple, man, and I hate to say it.
Uh-oh.
You need a commissioner of all of it. You need one person, and I hate people, but yeah, you need one person that says we don't need all these belts.
Dana White.
We'll make all these belts. If you want to keep your belts, we have to tier them so they'll be at separate tiers. So one belt will be the belt. That's the real belt. Then the other one can be the, you are the B guy.
WWE belts.
Yeah. You're
the Intercontinental.
You're the Intercontinental champ. Because the belts mean money. What most folks don't understand, when the championship fight happens, the boxers have to pay, the belt. Like, they have to give money to the WBC, give money to the WBA, or whoever it is. They got to give them some money to go do what they do.
Yeah, agreed.
So the cats aren't going to give up on the money. That's for sure. That they're not going to do.
Maybe kind of like a group A, group B, group C, group D.
Gotta be something, man, because then people will be able to tell who's winning, who's not winning, who's the best, who's not the best, based upon what we see on the television screen or wherever we're watching our fights at. So at this point in time, it's just you don't know who the hell is the best. If someone has the belt, but is he the best? Is he near the best? Like, what exactly is going on? So that's part of it. So, that's part of it.
I would agree with you. You need a commissioner, and like all these different, I don't know, organizations or whatever they are that have fighters. That needs to go away. Just have the WTFC belt, and that's it. And that goes down through all divisions. So
that's it.
Who the champion? Who is the champion, and that's the belt. And the commissioner, because that's the thing is you got all these different organizations, and they use those. I don't want to say loopholes, but that's basically kind of what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do.
If they're in one, WBA and the other one's in the WBC, and they would make a great fight, and they should fight each other. Well, one of them's like, I might get my ass beat, so I'm going to fight this other lower guy in my organization or whatever they're called, and basically sidestep a real fight, and that happens all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you just need one. Be like, hey, whatever you want to call it, the organization, whatever you want to call it, and that everybody fights under that umbrella, kind of like the UFC. Everybody, that's.
I
said Dana White for commissioner.
Well,
Dana just ain't gonna.
The thing with Dana is, the problem with Dana is that Dana owns it, so he pays them too. I don't need the commissioner to pay. Like we say in other sports, we need him to be a separate entity, but not just judge, jury, and So
correct. That's the problem.
Yes. Yeah, they just need a guy to make decisions, not necessarily be, if not, you won't get, the boss, because I think Dana holds too much power.
Right. Gotcha. That's DA with boxing. Like I said, look for a DA and DDubb to have a standalone boxing show that they will get to go together here real soon before the year's out. Let's transition real quick. Well, I'm sorry, Dan, you had something?
I was just gonna say, make sure you bring in pen and paper so you can keep up with all the different people in the different organizations.
WBO, WBA. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Let me move to the NBA. The NBA's in-season tournament is upon us. It's in quarterfinals as the Knicks, the Celtics, and others move on. You got the Lakers, Pacers, Pelicans, and Kings. Let me read this from CBS Sports from Sam Quinn. He says the NBA in-season tournament brackets here. The 30-team group stage portion of NBA's inaugural in-season tournament has whittled down to An 18 field, and the knockout round will start early next week. The quarterfinal games, 2 Mondays and 2 Tuesdays, will be held at the home floor of the 4 highest seeds: the Bucks and the Pacers in the East, and the Lakers and the Kings in the West. In the East, the Celtics Group C winner will visit the Pacers on Monday, and the Bucks Group B winner will host the Knicks wild card on Tuesday. In the West, the Pelicans Group B winner will head to the Kings winner on Monday, and the next day the Suns will travel to face the Lakers Group A winner to close the quarterfinal round. The winners will play the teams in their respective conferences on Thursday, December 7th in Las Vegas, with the finals taking place 2 days later. Let me just read this real quick. Early Wednesday morning, the NBA released the schedule of the flex games, that is the set of contests to be played by the teams that will not advance to Las Vegas. There will be 11 games and next Wednesday and 13 games on next Friday, December 8th, with the final 2 to be determined by losing teams from the quarterfinal. So that was going to be my question. How go ahead. My question was, is this part of the regular season? Oh, you got your pen?
Can you repeat all that?
This is the issue. Weren't they going to play those fucking games anyway? Because they're part of the season?
That's my understanding. That's why I read it.
They're not new games, right? So these games are going to happen anyway, right? So, okay, guys. Okay, women, men, women. Listen, I'm going to give you an axiom that men use on Valentine's Day. Why am I buying you a gift to get the same, you know what, that I got last week? It's the same freaking game. Don't dress it up because you put lipstick on a pig. What is it?
A pretty pig.
Yeah, it's a pig. Yeah.
Charlotte's Web.
So this is what we're talking about, right? So like this tournament, and I'm not saying that I understand. We all understand what he's doing. We understand that he wants to get eyes, and I think it's happening. So Adam Silver, you're right, because if we're talking about it, we probably are talking more now about basketball and the NBA than we probably would have had this tournament not happen. But there are certain things within this tournament that are weird. So like the points differential, you know, is a problem.
As we see, what do you think about the players trying to run up the score? We put up on our socials chat here.
Yeah, well, they, you know, so it's just going back to playing in a high school tournament with some foolishness, man. Like, you know, why are we now? You know, now guys, and I don't have a problem running them score. My thing is, dog, stop them from scoring, and you will not be mad. I don't have to stop scoring because of you. You know, so if I need to get X amount of points and do what I do, I'm going to do what I do.
Oh, but you would not be saying it if this was college football instead of the kids.
Oh, no. If it was the kids, I watched that my whole life. I played in that. Like, that's when Florida State would score 70 points in the game.
Well, Denver put a 70 spot on.
Miami. Miami put 70 on them. But, you know, there was a time when all the first 2-3 weeks of college football, teams were getting beat by 3,000 points a game. So it's, you know, you stop it if you can stop it. And if you can't stop it, then you can't stop it. But I'm not sure why. I guess the point differential is used like they use it in Europe. And this is what they're fashioning this whole scenario around is what they're doing in the Champions League.
In New York heads means copying. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, so what I do see is that, you know, they're trying to do the points thing because that's what they do over there for ties. And I don't know how there would be a tiebreaker other than a record tiebreaker. And usually in other sports where both teams have the same record, you just play each other. That's it. And the team that wins goes on, and the team that doesn't win doesn't move on. You know, it's not like in the NFL they're going to do the playoffs. Oh, wow, Pittsburgh only scored 65 points last week. But, you know, this is what they're trying to do. And I'm actually, you know, I don't really have a problem with it, Kevin, because I think it is successful within its intended
Purpose.
Yeah, it's doing what it was there to do. So
Yeah, AAU tournament in the midst of an NBA season.
yes, that's kind of it, man. So tell your mothers to go get their apple slices and and the orange slices for after the game. Make sure these kids are hydrated. Get some water, some bananas for their potassium. So when you get out there to get your sons, and then we good. So yeah, that's what I see. I got another problem with the NBA after this we can talk about, but I got another issue. But go ahead.
After this, I was gonna just I was just gonna dive into Mark Cuban, but if you have something else on this,
No. You go ahead, do your Mark Cuban.
Yeah, let's go. Yep. Let's go to Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban. Again, from Sam Coyne of CBS Sports, Mark Cuban, one of the NBA's most well-known successful owners, is selling a majority stake of the Dallas Mavericks to Miriam Allison and the Allison family. Earlier Tuesday, it was reported that Allison was selling $2 billion worth of Sands stock. She's part owner of the Sands Hotel and Casinos.
Oh,
yeah, the family that owns its stock to fund the purchase of a professional sports team. Now we know which team she had in mind. The deal values the team in the range of $3.5 billion, according to Shams Carina. The deal will be structured in an incredibly usual way. Cuban will retain some of the shares of the team, and despite no longer being the team's majority owner, he will retain full control over basketball operations. While Cuban is currently the team's owner, his top basketball executive is general manager Nico Harrison. Cuban has always been incredibly hands-on as an NBA owner and will seemingly remain very involved in how the Mavericks operate. The Allison and Dumont families released the following statement. The Dallas Mavericks are one of the world's most successful and recognizable sports. The team has won an NBA champion, has a long history of attracting international superstars, and has been supported by dedicated and passionate fan base and leadership group led by Mark Cuban. All right, so let me just get into this. Yes, Mark Cuban, he's going to retain, his lure over the team and all the, making the basketball decisions. This basically is just a marriage. The Sands family, for what I researched today, basically this is going to get that whole Dallas Metroplex area a casino once Texas approves for sports gambling for the state of Texas. So I guess with all the lobbyists and all that stuff, they'll push them along, like, hey, it's time for Texas to have sports betting. So from what that's going to be, they're going to try to push for that and also push for the Mavericks to have a supersized arena, kind of like what's going on up in LA and Inglewood with our main man, Steve Ballmer, who owns the LA Clippers. I'll give it to Dan. What's your thoughts on Mark Cuban doing this?
Shit. He put $3.5 billion in my pocket and still run the team. Hell yeah. I mean, he got the money in and he still got control of the team. I mean,
and the honey. He got the money and the honey, baby.
Yeah, I mean, like when I heard that he was still controlling the basketball operations, I was like, what's going on? Like, and why would they do that? But I mean, in the event that they want him out, I guess they could always vote him out. You know what I mean? As the board or whatever. If you watch, what is it, Succession? You're gonna have one of those little meetings or whatever. But yeah, for him,
good show, Dan. That's a good show. I didn't know you watched that.
Yeah, that's an excellent show,
bro. Yes,
but yeah, that's you got your money and you still get to do what you've been doing. Okay, and really, he's not affected by paying the bills.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
He's absolved of all of that now, right?
Yeah. So he got less stress and less BS to put up with.
Mm-hmm.
But he still got his money and he still run the team. So
run the team.
Hats off, bro.
We got on here. Junior pulled up for us. Cuban has recently announced that he will be stepping down from his role as the long-running business show Shark Tank, which he has been part of for over a decade. So he's giving that up. Go ahead, D.
He's getting that money, and I don't think there's nothing wrong with him getting that money. He really, to me, was a really good NBA owner.
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, and the respect that he wanted to win and would do what he had to do to make sure his players felt good about being there, that they were wanted and that they were special. So he would make sure that they were good to go. And I really, I like that about any owner. Like we talk about that all the time. So I didn't really have a problem, and I don't have a problem with him staying on because, yeah, he's there. He's about winning. So we could do that with Mark Cuban, and that's a beautiful thing, And I also, as weird as it sounds, it's funny, but dude, like what they're trying to do is basically do what's going to happen with the Vegas team. Right? They just want to mirror that because you want to put the basketball arena in the middle of the hotel, facilities. I'm not saying you're going to have it in the hotel, but, if you got your thing over 2 or 3 blocks and you have the hotel with a straight line to the doggone arena and you can, kind of escalator in, escalator out of the arena and do what you do, man, that's a win-win-win. So I can see what they're trying to do, and it doesn't. Listen, I'm good with it. I'm good with it. I'm good with anyone making their money, getting their bread. So.
Yep. Gotcha. Yeah, that's what Mark Cuban is doing. We'll see. We got the NBA tournament. The DA, you want to real quick? You had another point before we move on.
Yeah. This is gonna be short. This is short, and I think I'll probably write about it. To my brothers and sisters within the sports media world, when it comes to the NBA, folks, we got to move the fuck on. All right, we cannot sit on this LeBron James, what's your boy out there in Del Curry, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Listen. Those guys are great players, champions, taking nothing from them. They all are over 35 years of age, man. What the NBA needs to do is what they used to do is go back. And I know they had the gun thing with what's your boy, Durant, what's his kid name?
Morant.
Yeah, Morant out there and so that may have soured him a bit. But the reality is,
yes.
But the reality is there's a lot of great young players coming up in this league, playing well, not getting any trouble. SGA, there are a lot of guys. SGA out there in Oklahoma City with Chet.
Ant-Man, Minnesota.
Ant-Man's an MVP.
Yes.
He's the best player in the league right now. So there are young players on every team. Tatum, Brown,
Giannis.
Even Giannis, Randall. We need to start expressly pushing these guys out front for the league because they are and I understand that there are some vets still doing really well, and getting it in. I understand that. But I also I would put Embiid with the younger guys because he's just made 30. That's your MVP, and Jokic is still under 30, and so is Luka. So everybody under 30, these are the young guys that the NBA has. They almost act as if they have no future and no players for the future sometime. And what I want, and this is just from hearing from the sports people on television and on podcasts, on YouTube, all they talk about is the old guys. And I got nothing against old guys because I'm an old guy. But the reality is that with the NBA, I think it might be a better look for guys to start talking about these, players that are actually playing right now.
Yes. As
opposed to guys that have been retired for 30 years and hypothetical. What if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar played against Giannis? What the fuck? Who cares? Who cares? Come on, man. And I understand. My son says the old guys are still most popular, but there's a reason why they're most popular, right? Because the folks on TV don't highlight what the young guys are doing to make them popular.
Let me.
That said, I'm out.
Let me jump in here. Let me ask Dan this question. Dan, how does the NHL? How do they combat this? How do they do from moving from Gretzky to Lemieux to? How do they do that?
Like when they're marketing games and stuff, like, Pittsburgh plays Washington. Yeah, it's going to be Ovechkin and Crosby, but sometimes it won't be just the two of them. It'll be Crosby, Getzel, and, Letang or one of the other players. And then the same with Washington. You'll have Ovechkin. You may have, Oshie or a young, Kuznetsov, a younger up and coming player where they hell, what did they do when Bedard started this year? That dude was on a national game every day. I think they were on the road for 5 games to start the season, and I think every game was on a national game, but maybe one.
So quite the opposite, right? For the NBA, right, DA?
When we only had one. So,
but that's what I mean. You got like, okay, hey, whoever's playing the Lakers, yeah, okay, you can put LeBron up there, but whoever the young stars are for the other team, you can throw them up there too in the graphic and be like, Thursday, 10:30, Minnesota versus Lakers, and blah blah blah, and then put you could put the old guys up there, but you can mix in some of the young stars.
I agree.
Rivers or whatever, the young kid that plays really well for them, and then mix them in. So it's almost like a turnstile. So as the star player ages out and retires, then you have that young guy that's now a couple years into the league, 3-4 years, that's now popular. And then you had that other young guy coming right behind him that they drafted, that you can keep the carousel of stars coming and promote them so that people just don't I bet you I couldn't name 25 players in the NBA right now.
Well, that's the thing. I thought we were going to have that guy, Kev's boy, on because I wanted to ask him. Like, I can name old guys all day, but
oh no, he could make it. So we have to make it to another.
Yeah, new guys are you can name them, but my thing is this, right? So they're young players, right? But in every generation, so you had Dr. J and those guys. So when Bird and Magic came, they came at the necks of all those old dudes all the time. And then when Michael Jordan came in, he came at the necks of older dudes all the time. And then there was a famously AI, Kobe Bryant, that class. They went at the old guards hard. Like they didn't act like they were fans. They were respectful off the court because you were older dudes, but on the court, you got to be like Ant-Man and just try to dunk on everybody. Because that's the way you take the championship, and that's where you take the food from the old lion. The old lion he has to die for the new lion to actually take over. Yeah, so Michael Jordan had to be, he wasn't broken down, but he played a good season at 40, believe it or not. But Kobe Bryant had to come take that. I'm the best now, right? Him, Tracy McGrady, those dudes came up and like, we're the best. And dude's like, yep. I keep telling dudes, Stevie Francis, all those guys were like they were going to kill the old guys in the league. Yeah, I understand we have young guys in the league, and even LeBron, when he came in, tried to get the old guys. But at the end of the day, you also need the press. You also need the NBA marketing to really put these guys up front. Like, I haven't seen Ant-Man on anything, like a national nothing.
Well, they'll tell you that Ant-Man plays in Minnesota. It's a small market and all that.
Okay.
And all that nonsense. And I'm like, well, the internet and the world is a big world now. So you don't necessarily need to play in a big market to be San Antonio got a bunch of championships, and I don't think San Antonio is like top 25.
Giannis just did it in Milwaukee.
Correct. So it's the national media is biased. Well, we'll say that the legacy media, they're biased towards certain things, and that's fine. And but don't say that it's raining and the rest of the saying, right? Because it's not true. So I agree with you, D. I absolutely agree with you, D, about and Junior. Some of these comments you see coming up on YouTube, that's his thoughts. And I some of his stuff is right too. I think you just need in life. I'm all about balance. Just have balance, man. Just have balance. Ant-Man is phenomenal, and like Da said, if you haven't watched, and I watched a couple of games, he's the MVP of the league so far. He's been balling out of control. The producers in my ear, he says I must move on. So when we have those guys back, so we're supposed to have some guests. When we have them back, when we get a chance to have them back on, we'll have some more.
Get Ryan up in here. We'll do it when Ryan gets here.
We'll have Ryan on next week, and we'll talk about that. We'll revisit this. Let's go on to the hot and heavy topic all week that's been going on: college football. Will it be chaos? Will it be anarchy? Or will it be business?
Chaos is a ladder. It's a ladder.
Let me read from the AP the playoff rankings as of Tuesday. It came out yesterday. Georgia is 12-0. They're number 1. Michigan 12-0. They're number 2. Washington is 12-0. They're number 3. Florida State. Dan, you listening? They're 12-0. They're number 4. Oregon 11-1. They're number 5. Ohio State 11-1. Number 6. Texas 7. 11-1. Alabama 11-1. So I'm saying Alabama because Alabama and Georgia, they lock up on Saturday. So let's see. Let's see about the conference championships. What will happen? What kind of? It's going to be fun to see this stuff evolve. Hopefully, we'll get some good games. And I would like to see, as DA alluded to on Monday, was it Monday? Whatever. Monday is getting mixed up. On Monday, if this happens, what will the committee do? Who will they select? Because somebody's going to get left out, and a fan base of fans are going to be mad.
There's going to be some money. So
let me get Dan in here first. Dan, your thoughts on this as we talked to earlier?
We went through this on Monday, babe. I'm pulling for every one of them that are the underdogs or need a way to get in to win. Go Ohio or Iowa. Go Bama.
Yeah.
Who's the other one? Go Oregon. What's the
just
go
make
Louisville?
Yeah.
Go Louisville. Because I like I told you,
Oklahoma beat Texas.
Well, no, we want Texas
12-1.
We want 12-1 for Texas because they beat Alabama and it makes it spicy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're trying to cook that good chili here.
Yeah. I got you.
Burn you on the way in, burn you on the way out.
Woo! I actually think Oklahoma's going to win that game. To be honest.
Oh, they may, but
I don't know, D.
I think Brett Venables' defense is going to surprise them because that's the only team in the conference that actually plays any defense. They're not great.
Right.
This is Venables' first year, but he seems to be able to scheme up pretty good defenses. So he may have guys in the right position to do things. Like I don't think they have the players that he used to have, like in Clemson, that would shut teams down. So it'll take him a year or two to get some dudes. They say some dudes in there. So he doesn't have any dudes at present.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's what's going on with these college playoff rankings. It's going to be definitely interesting. Also, we talked on Monday how basically the Washington and Oregon game, pretty much the winner of that, and whoever has probably the best game probably will be the Heisman Trophy winner, and their team is probably going to go to the playoff, and they'll be on the outside looking in. D, let me be like I said, we beat this to death the other night, so we're hoping for chaos and mayhem. D, what do you think about your main man, Bobby Petrino, returning back to Arkansas as the OC? I need you to be nice. I need you to be nice.
Yeah,
Don't turn into Hulk.
Yeah, I'm trying. I've been trying to figure that out since I It just listen. He's a gifted offensive mind.
100%. All jokes aside, yes.
But like I said, he gets more chances. Like he got some naked pictures of somebody.
They got a rule for a rule that doesn't allow him to come back, but the rule allows him to come back.
But you know what it shows you with these colleges is that they're not ish either.
Yeah.
Right. So everybody talks about the students. Everybody talks about the coaches. Everybody talks about the atmosphere. It runs downhill. And if the institutions themselves don't care about anything but winning and would bring a dude on campus that violated your rules in the first time to get you fired, and now you come back and it's all good. Hey, he said he's sorry. You okay? And that doesn't mean that it won't happen again. It just means that it just means that they won't tell us that it happened again because they don't want to look bad. So now he's good. As long as he can get in there and put an offense that's winning, it's cool. Just the wildest thing is that kids probably won't respect him. They'll be cracking on him in practice. Like, where's your extra chick at, coach? You got your girlfriend on the motorcycle. Where's she at, coach? So yeah. So that's like you. It's weird that I guess if you're really good at what you do, man, you can really F up in life and they'll still put you in the chair. So that's what it seems like to me. So
Dan, your thoughts on Bobby Chino coming back as the OC?
DA hit it on the head. What are you gonna do? Like you said, shit happens. He gets fired, goes somewhere else. And, okay, yeah, we'll bring you back. I mean, it's like it almost just tells you that it's all about winning and it's all about money.
100%.
That you, like you said, you could do pretty much anything as long as you're really, really good at what they need you to be.
Right.
Yeah, listen, we can't say that Laney hasn't done anything crazy since he left Tennessee. But you know what? He went to Alabama, won the national championship under Coach Saban. Coach Saban, like Tom Brady, sent that letter of recommendation, and now he's a head coach. Right? So now Lane Kiffin's head coach, not just a head coach. He did FAU for a year and a half for 2 seconds. Told a bunch of kids to come to FAU and bounce to go to Mississippi. So the point I make is it doesn't matter to the schools. The coaches get to roll around this country with impunity. Do whatever they want to do.
Well,
get a job, leave a job.
Oh, hell.
The kids say,
Oh, boy's making $76 million to watch.
Yeah. So come on, man.
I mean,
come on, everybody.
Go ahead, Dan, and I'm gonna.
That was my thing. It's like they get to move around with impunity, but they, when they do get punished, it's not too bad.
Oh, not at all.
We have 7 years, $76 million that they still owe to him or something.
Yeah. Good deal. You should have took that job and put us on, man.
Yeah. Next one that comes up, I'm in. I don't care.
That's going to lead me to go ahead, Dan. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say you just need to drive her straight down 77, bud.
Yeah, I hope so.
They got an opening for a lot of positions.
I hope so.
Let me go to my next story in college football. Matt Rule says something very interesting on today. He said this about NIL money. And hold on here. Let me get it. Let me cue it up. I did have it queued up. He says this, make no mistake, a good quarterback, and he's talking about transfer portals, right? There's been a lot of talk about, let me just read the quote and then I'll say what I got to say. Make no mistake, a good quarterback in the portal costs $1 million to $1.5 million to $2 million, just so we're on the same page. There's some teams that have $6 or $7 million players playing for them, Rule said. We just kind of believe in doing things the old school way by building, but that doesn't mean we won't look at people in the portal. So Matt Rule kind of sort of sounds like Dabo Sweeney. And hey, this is what it is. college football, y'all let this happen. Y'all let this happen. Y'all let this happen. Don't cry for me. Argentina used to be a Broadway play, right? Don't cry for me now. I don't want to hear it. When y'all was getting the money, as we just said, just this last what we just talked about, college, the coaches they get money. They go tell your kid, hey, come to my school, and then they bounce, and they're allowed to get all the money. And I'm a capitalist. I believe in capitalism. But the kids are getting it now too. And now y'all whining, boohoo, and crying about the kids getting the money. And this is what y'all. This is what has come about. I was hearing Coach Prime talk about this the other day about some of his players decommitting and not committing to the school for whatever reason. He said we're not an ATM, and so some of these coaches now are coming to the realization they're going to have to pay, and the donors of these schools, and hey, maybe some of the citizens of the school, they're going to have to pay. Go ahead, D.
Listen. Those cats in Nebraska have been paying since Tommy Frazier. This ain't nothing new. All right?
But now the ante is up, though.
They're not
asking for $500, right? They're asking for $5 million.
Hey, listen, you.
The cost
the
of doing
reality
business.
It's the cost of doing business, man. Right? I'm not. There's no way in the world I'm upset about this. I just get upset. Like Matt Rule, you can't say it, right? Because you paid players all the way through. I know you did, because I saw the teams you had and how quickly they got good. Your name is not the name that brought all those kids to damn Baylor for that good season that you had there, Baylor. And we'll see what you do here in Nebraska, because Nebraska has money. All that goddamn farm subsidy money out there. There's money out there in Nebraska for kids. So it's just up to them whether they want to spend it or not.
Whether they want to pay or not.
Yeah, right. Well, it's already backfired for them, as we saw this year that he brought in a dude that was a criminal. So
we didn't talk about that, yes.
Yeah, we talked about that, right? He brought a dude in that was a criminal. I don't know how much he paid him, but if you don't pay dudes, that's what you're going to get, criminals. Because the good kids that can play and ain't going to do nothing wrong, they cost, and they understand that they have a value. And that's the problem. So the NCAA has to figure out a way to either one, figure out a pay scale that works and makes sense, and coaches have to figure out a way to ensure that the NIL money that they're giving that goes to these kids comes with some responsibility or comes with something. Because at this point in time, I don't know, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but I know a coach can't stop a player's money.
No, absolutely not.
So a coach can't say, "Oh, well, don't pay him because he's not doing that." They can't. The coach can't stop a player's money at this point in time. So,
but dude, y'all need to pay.
Oh well, if you want to win,
Dan, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dan.
No, I was just gonna say it's now a level playing field. All 104. No. Well, no, it's all 144 schools now have the opportunity, or whatever the Division I total is, have the opportunity to pay players to come to their school, where in years past, before the NIL, you had some programs that were doing it, but they had the money and the boosters to be able to do it. I mean, Reggie Bush just got to be beside himself that they took his fucking Heisman and now they're doing this shit.
Hopefully he shoes. I don't know what he got in plans.
I'm sure he did. I'm sure
he did. But to say that you may have some schools that do have a lot of money that were on the straight and narrow and wouldn't pay players to come to their school to fear of violations. Now it's legal. And that's kind of the problem for some of these coaches, because, maybe in Nebraska, they don't want to spend the money on football kids. They want to spend it on the school itself and apartments or whatever. where they will, but only to a certain point. Well, now you got other schools that have a lot of money that they want to win, and they're going to put this money out and bring in who they can bring in. And if you're a player and you know what Matt Rule is saying is true, why would you not get in the carousel every year? Because that shit's just going to go up
every year.
The cost of doing business,
and that's, you know, not to lump this all in to the NIL and what's going on, but we all heard what Brady said about the NFL and its product. Well, this is kind of where it's starting. You don't have guys go and play 4 years at the same school.
and we don't have enough time to
I
tap
know.
bag, bro.
And real quick,
Yeah, because
we'll never get to the Bill Parcells 32 games for a college quarterback before going to the NFL, because that has not let me down yet. Every year I say it: play less than 32 games as a starter in college. You get to the NFL, you're probably going to be shit.
Trubisky.
It's going to hurt you. It's going to hurt you.
It's going to hurt you, and it hurts them now.
Yeah.
Fields, because they only get a chance to play 1 year at college before, you know, because there's the guy in front of them, so they have to get a year.
Bryce Young.
Yeah. But he had Matt in front of him. Matt had Tua in front of him, and Tua had Jalen in front of him. All four quarterbacks were all three of them were at the school at the same time because they were redshirt freshmen, redshirt sophomores playing, you know, getting on the field, and then you're bringing in Bryce. So as a youngster. So, yeah, I know I got to 117. We out.
So, yeah, damn, we got to definitely dip into that bag again. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot to get into that with that whole.
Just touching the surface.
Yes. So we'll definitely get into that in another episode. Let me move on to the NFL, the National Football League. David Tepper apparently was listening to us because let me just read what he said here the other day. One day after firing Frank Wright and appointing his sixth head coach in 5 years, I said 6 the other day. I stand to be corrected. Carolina team owner David Tepper was defensive. He says, "I do have patience," Tepper said during a Tuesday morning media conference. "My reputation away from this game is one of extreme patience." And this is coming from Jory Epstein of Yahoo Sports. The Panthers, Tepper told reporters that he hopes his next head coach will last 20 to 30 years. The Panthers' reality is far different. Tepper fired Reich on Monday after a 1-10 start, the 11-game stint being the shortest NFL head coaching tenure in 45 years. Special teams coordinator Chris Taylor was
84
promoted.
years old, 30 years from now, 84.
Offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, who has alternated play calling with Reich so far this season with play calls. I'm not reading anymore. So Mr. Tepper, he has doubled down. He said he is not impatient. I vehemently disagree with him because you have given me 5 instances of showing that you are impatient.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. I saw something today on I want to say it's Cam Newton's podcast. Cam Newton has a podcast. Yeah. Shout out to Cam Newton. Cam said this. D was about to roll his eyes because he saw it. You know what I'm talking about. Cam was saying that he thinks Mr. Tepper is waiting for Bill Parcells to part ways with New England.
Bill Belichick.
I'm saying Parcells. I'm sorry,
Yes.
Bill Belichick to part ways with New England and come to Charlotte to 800 Mint Street to take everything over. And you know, Cam has insight. He's a player. He used to be a player, and I don't know.
He knows you would have to give Bill everything for him to come do this.
Everything. And you have to go play somewhere and leave me alone, else I'm out.
Get out the way.
That's pretty much what happened with Bill Parcells and Jimmy.
So, yeah,
Jerry Jones, and then with Jimmy, with also Jimmy, whatchamacallit, his first head coach when Jerry Jones Johnson. Was Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
So
you're not gonna do that. Don't hire him.
Yeah, you got to stay out his way if you're going to do that. That would be a smart move because y'all been awful the last couple of years. Awful. I mean, They was on their way when they had Steve Wilkes. They was on their way to something, and they decided he's trying to catch lightning in a bottle. So I don't know.
I think the one thing about Parcells is that Kevin, is that is that his formula for building a team would probably get them the quickest results to being good, because he has a way of getting second tier players to come from other squads over to his squad, and he makes them situationally good.
Right.
Good enough to do what they need to do so you win games. And he's going to, run the ball. Yeah, and without Brady, he's an average coach for sure. But without Brady, he's a excellent defensive coach. So if you can get somebody to play some defense and get a running back and get a quarterback to not throw the ball to the other team, they'll definitely be better than one game winning next year. Definitely.
Dan, your thoughts on David Tepper and this submission by?
We talked about this the other day. It just is he trying to save face? Probably, because he fired 5 of 6. Doesn't he own the soccer team too and fired that guy?
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, he's like the orange haired dude. You're fired.
Yeah.
Just run on. You're fired. I mean, come on. Like, he didn't even Urban Meyer got more time than this guy.
Wow. Urban Meyer kicked the guy on the field.
Exactly.
You're right. You're good. Yes.
I mean, good Lord. You told the man to go in the kitchen and make a sandwich with what you had in the cupboard, and there was nothing in there because you gave it to the Bears.
Yeah.
What do you think he was going to come out with? He had a wish sandwich, 2 pieces of bread, and he wished he had some meat.
Yeah, I wish. God, he had a condiment sandwich.
And yeah, he could wait for Belichick. Still doesn't change the fact that you don't have any draft picks. You're going to lose Burns in the offseason. You have no offensive line. You have no receivers. They don't have the portal. He just can't pluck people in there and pay them. So it's going to be the same thing. And we're back to the root of the problem. Are you going to let this guy coach the team and give him a couple years?
Oh, come on, Mike.
I mean, what are you
doing? Mike Bristol, what's up, my guy? Shout out to my main man, Mike.
Come on, man.
But that's my thing is, are you going to – it doesn't matter who it is. Are you going to give them the opportunity to build a team? Because, it's going to be a minute because they don't have any picks.
Nope. And that's why I say I think he's the only one that can do, because he at least can do the free agent dance, because he can't draft. There's no one to draft. He has no draft picks to draft anyone. So,
but I tell you what, Chicago is going to wind up with what do they call him?
They're going to have
Harrison. What do they call him?
Harrison and a lineman. Yeah, they're going to have a Harrison
and Marvin or whatever the color they.
Yeah, yes, they're going to have because he's probably driving a Maserati on the campus.
That'd be the first thing. You take him first, and then take a lineman at the next pick.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carolina. Moving.
And the next pick is 3 or something like that. So it'd be number 2 and number 4.
It'd be like Houston. Houston had.
Yeah.
Not Houston, the Texans. Or they are Houston, right?
Yeah, they're Houston.
Where they had Will Anderson and Stroud.
Yes. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yep. Well,
I just want to, before we end this, because we've been, going all year and nobody's paying attention, but we have our own little football pick 'em poll. So since nobody wants to talk about it, I'll bring it up. We're at week 12, and our host and moderator, Kevin's leading the way with 114, right?
Yes.
You got Daryl DDubb at 112. You got myself at 111. Angry One, James E. Warren, he's at 106. DA's at 105. Sir, you got to pay attention to your emails. They tell you when to pick.
Yeah, no, I don't
like Bills at 104.
Yeah,
that's where we're at.
Yeah, I don't play every week. I forget to put it, so I got to put them in. I'll put them in tonight. That's my fault. That's my fault. I'll put it tonight. I will do it today.
pick now and pay attention to the emails.
I am. I know. I can't blame anyone but me.
Mike Bristol says the hockey guy is going to take it.
Oh yeah, you know what? If I don't pay attention, now I got 6 games to pick up. So,
well, I had a stinker of a 5-pick week, so
because I was in second place, I was killing them.
Yeah, and you forgot.
I must have forgot. To go with Roy Jones. Yes, I must have forgot.
I must have forgot, man. Listen, listen. Before we get out of here, we're not going to do no NFL picks. A couple announcements before I get out of here. Remember, I don't know if I said this on Monday, 10 a.m. The Mad Hatter, aka Daryl DDubb Warren, he will be hosting the show. I will not be on. DDubb will be hosting the show. Who knows what hat he will be wearing after this weekend? He might have on an Alabama hat.
Put a guess out there. Put a guess out there.
Put a guess out there. He might have an Oregon hat on, huh?
A clown hat.
A clown. He might have.
If he wears it, they're going to lose. So whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're combining the Gridiron show, the college show, along with the Fourth and Short. So DDubb will start off with the Gridiron. They'll talk about all that happened with the college, and then they'll transition right. There will be no break, and they will transition right into the NFL stuff on Monday morning at 10 o'clock. So if you're available free, you're at your desk or whatever, make sure you tune us in. And and
if not, download us later on.
That's right. Go to Apple, give us that 5-star review, by the way, or Spotify, and give us the review and all that stuff, man. So yes, the Gridiron Rundown 4th and Short will commence on Monday, 10 a.m. Parting shots before we get on out of here. The DA, what you got for us, man? Great show tonight, guys. Great show tonight. Thank you guys so much.
Crack is whack.
Still on this crack is whack, man. We're gonna make you the drug czar. Dan, what you got for us, bro?
Oh, nothing too heavy. Just great show. Shout out to Ian, Mikey, and DDubb and Ryan. Sorry, we missed you guys, but like I said, great show, and we'll be back. Monday?
Yeah, Monday. Yes, we'll be back Monday.
Some good games this weekend across the board, whether it's college or professional.
Most wonderful time of the year. Yes, definitely.
Oh yeah, hey, Yankees gonna get Soto. It's not official, but I'm just gonna say it.
Okay.
Yeah, because we look at all sports. So
yeah, we do all sports. Yeah, there's rumors of Soto signing with the Yankees, so we'll definitely see. Mike Bristol got me dying laughing. He said, "Go Niners." Yeah, he's a Niners fan as well. He said, "Sorry, signed up." He gave DDubb the Giants ring. Yo, y'all make sure DDubb shows his Super Bowl ring that Mike Bristol gave him.
Wow.
A replica of a replica of a replica of a replica
of a replica of a replica.
Let's just hope Purdy makes it through this game.
Oh man, we're gonna try, man. We're gonna be a lot of running. You're gonna see a lot of the backup running back for the Niners.
That's the big game this week. Where's that game at again before we sign off?
Philadelphia.
The game's in Philadelphia, man. So Purdy's playing. This ain't where the third backup is playing. Hopefully this will be a really good game. And what time is that game? That game's at 1 or
4:35.
4:35 game. So
4:35.
So listen, I don't have anything heavy. Great show. I know we're on Wednesday. Thank you for all those that had transitioned with us here on Wednesday today. We will go back to normal business hours and operation on next Thursday at 7:30. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for chiming in. I think Mike got to score 28-24. Thank you for all those that chimed in on the YouTube side, all those that are sounding my voice on the podcast side. Thank you for rocking with us and listening to us, man. And as the DA said, we talk all sports. We covered hockey, we covered college football, boxing. We did it all tonight, except for golf and some other things, man. So we love sports. That's why we're on here, man. So you have something, Dan? Go ahead before we get out of here.
I was just, let you know the Red Wings are up 2-1.
What period are we in? Second.
Almost 3 minutes left in the second.
My Rangers are down to the Red Wings 2-1.
I just want to see if Kane's playing.
Okay. Gotcha. I don't think he would be playing so quick.
Yeah, I don't see him.
So, listen, we're going to get on out of here on behalf of myself. Shout out to the fellas in their absence, to DDubb, to the Angry One, and to Mike Mills, man. Miss you guys, and hey, we'll get back. Sure. We'll get back to doing what we're doing, what we do. Sound like DA when I sounded like that. But listen, on behalf of myself, I'm Kevin L. Warren for Dan, our hockey dude, who's in second place on the NFL picks. To the DA, crack his whack. To our super producer, Junior, thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. Outstanding job as always. This is real cool that I got a great guy who's.
Why does it say PJ? Who knows PJ?
Hey, bro, that's his name that he wanted to put on his thing. Please leave my producer alone, please. Myself, I'm Kevin O. Warren for Mike Mills in his absence, for the Angry One in his absence, Darryl D. Warren for DA, for Dan the Hockey Dude, and for PJ, our super producer. This is a Sports Chasers podcast. Be good, bless, have a week, have a great weekend. Hey, we'll see you on Monday at 10 a.m. for Fourth and Short and the Gridiron College Football Rundown. Be good, be easy, peace.
Go in the